Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or wherever you are in the world of Ascension. Today we're going to talk about professions, the changes, and some different tricks and tips that can guide you through the multiple arches and challenges, the survival challenges, nightmares, really any challenge, to be honest, if you have the mental will for it. The highlight of this is, though, that you can use it into this challenge, which is the Absolute Resolve Nightmare, and I've been at it for a while. I'll let you see my playtime, 1 day, 4 hours. You also have to count, but I've been doing it for about a week and a half in between work. And I mean, I've been able to progress in doing it. And I know a lot of people after the nerfs have been discouraged, but it is possible. You're going to be picking a lot of herbs. I probably picked in total 2,000 herbs. I also have a full personal bank. Vandy will help you. It's not necessary, but I would recommend it, especially the Pit Lord Satchels and the personal bank. They are minor quality of life increases. They're not going to change the gameplay much, but it's going to allow you to do more stockpiling without needing to constantly go back and buy bigger bags or craft them. Because we want to avoid tailoring, we want to avoid skinning, we want to avoid leatherworking. We don't even want to acknowledge their existence. Instead, we want to take herbalism and mining. At this time, I'm taking alchemy because alchemy is our main trick. We take mining for copper. The reason why we take the mining for copper, you can go to tin because bronze is good. But you never want to go to iron. The reason why you never want to go to iron is because you're losing your time and you're losing your efficiency. With copper, you get rough stone. Now, rough stone can be turned into blacksmithing stones with linen cloth. I believe that's coarse rough stone. I might be wrong. It's whatever the... Let's see, do I have it on seal? I don't. It's whatever the stone is from blacksmithing that takes 1 rough stone and 1 linen cloth. That'll give you 400 XP on Resolute experience. That's great now. A lot of people look at it and say, oh, well, that's really bad experience. But think about this. You can do it from level 0 blacksmithing. Right from the get-go, it costs 1 to 1, and you can get 4 linen cloth per kill in the starting zone. You do want to take alliance for this challenge. The reason why is when you play Horde, Horde is a lot significantly harder to do this farming in a efficient time manner. In addition to that, Horde zones are pretty rough. I love to play Horde, but don't get me wrong, this challenge is very biased towards alliance because the starting zones and the zones are just generally better. The 4 major zones that we're going to be consolidating in is Alune Forest, Stranglethorn Valley, Val, STV, Ashenvale, and Darkshore. These are going to be the highlights of our run in the 4 zones we practically never leave. You can leave them to go to Westfall, Darkshore, and to, I wouldn't say Fellwood. I wouldn't recommend Fellwood. Ashenvale into Hills. No, oh my fucking god. Ashenvale into Stone. I would not recommend going to Stone Town though, but if you want to pick up the logs there. But Ashenvale into Ashara. I generally did not want to go to the zones because a lot of the mobs there will one-shot you, even through Arcane Forge Barrier. But you can. If you feel confident, if you know what you're doing, you can. Especially if you're woodcutting, I don't recommend it. Woodcutting is great to splice in here, but woodcutting XP will not cut it. In my opinion, woodcutting experience is very competitive. A lot of people focus on it because of that. Whereas with herbalism and mining, a lot of people, especially in these starting zones, don't consistently pick it up. So you can have 40 nodes in one area, like here, that are constantly respawning and up, especially during playtimes when there is a large influx of players. They hyperspawn, and so you can end up getting 300, 400 herbs every hour and a half, essentially, assuming your RNG is good. Usually you should expect 100 to 200, but you can get 300 to 400 in zones like this where it's hyperspawning, and you can constantly keep picking it up, especially with Peace Bloom. Maybe not as much as Silverleaf, but Peace Bloom definitely. I have like 400 Peace Bloom that I picked up during my first time doing it. But the reason why we're going to be taking mining and herbalism is that those 2 are going to provide us with the most resource-efficient experience results. Tailoring is great for making your own bags and gear. Leatherworking is great for making your own bags and gear. Sorry, whatever the other thing leatherworking makes. It makes something else. Tailoring is bags and cloth gear. I believe armor kits. Armor kits for leatherworking, which are, trust me, especially with Resolute Nightmare, every stat counts. I stack stamina. I personally think stamina is the most important stat you should stack because it's going to increase the chance you're going to survive a hit. Because if you get hit with a fireball, 9 out of 10 times is going to be at least half your HP without a critical strike. If it's a critical strike, your HP bar is going to be down to like 5%, 10%. Now, if they have an instant cast, you're dead. You don't want to do that. That's why I take Mana Forge Barrier. It really, really helps building an intel build. Now, I've heard people done hunter builds. I've heard people done strength builds where it's kind of like a high damage count. I don't see people do melee builds, but I've seen people do different sort of RE and champ builds. You can do that, but remember, you might die a lot doing those. So I can recommend you builds, but I can't tell you how to play the game. I can't tell you how to play Professions though, and how to get to 60, as I'm going to within the next few days. As you can see, all this minus maybe four levels in STV have been to crafting. I've leveled up all the quests here. I did 1 to 20 in the starting zone, and I'll also go over that so that you have an understanding of the zones I did. But for herbalism, we're never going to want to drop herbalism unless you are exclusively staying in the starter zone 1 to 20 to ensure that you continue to get experience, even if it's green, while you're there. The reason why we never want to drop herbalism is a lot of the herbs we get are very high level, and to reset it or to reset us. With mining, we can consistently drop it. We don't need tin, we don't need bronze. We don't need it at all. So we can drop it, pick it back up, and continue to farm copper. The big points of interest that you want to go to is the mines. Now, a lot of people will tell you, don't go into caves and don't go into mines. That is true. The starting zone mine is all neutral mobs. These 2 mines are red mobs. I did not go to these 2 mines until I out-leveled a Loon Forest, and I came back 10 levels later. That is up to you. I don't recommend taking them. A lot of mobs will aggro on you in very small spaces, and you have a higher chance of getting swarmed. And if you don't have a build that is designed to survive swarms or do very rapid, quickly killing, combos, if it's AoE or single target kills, you're going to die. And then you're going to get set back. This is going to take you a while. It's going to take you 2 hours doing in the starting zone to get 1 to 20 in Resolute, but that's okay. So if you want to do Resolute, I will give you some suggestions, but for Professions, we're going to highlight it. For Professions, for engineering especially, a lot of the combinations are going to end up going into each other. So like copper screws, copper tubes, they're all going to go into things like the blunderbuss or into different combos. I found that the blunderbuss, the rough blunderbuss, is 1,000 experience. So let's do the math here. If I'm getting 1 copper, it's about 120 experience on Resolute, right? It's going to be probably about 200, 300 on normal. Roughly around there. You can usually, with Resolute rates, you can 2 times them, and then you'll get around the normal rates. So if you're getting 2,000 experience, you can expect 4,000 experience from that normal Ascension level scaling, which is great. So that means that if you know that there are safe recipes that do not decrease from the, we call it first time craft and return rate crafts. At least we'll call it here that. First time crafts are going to be your initial first craft. That's going to be that extra few experience. Consistent crafting is going to be that same experience you're going to get after that. A lot of items will decrease by 20%, roughly around there, maybe 30%, and then they'll be lower. For certain recipes, especially like for alchemy, a weak Troll's Blood will always stay at 700. Mana rejuvenation potions are great. Holy protection pots are great. They'll always stay at 1,000, and they cost Swift Zone Bruiseweed. You're not going to be using it really. I mean, you might be using it for some other experience items, but not really. Lesser invisibility potions are decent for what you're getting out of it. Wild Steel Burn Fade Leaf. Nature protection potions are a great one. They take Life Root. Life Root's not really used in anything. This will give you another 1,000 experience. And it's Strangle Kelp, one of the easiest things to gather. But the main highlight we're going to go is at 160, the Mana Potion. This will consistently give you 2,110 XP, or 2,100. Yeah, 110 experience, around there. It's 2,000 at least. And it's King's Blood. King's Blood is a little difficult to get, but once you get up in the higher levels, it's easy to get. And it's Strangle Kelp, a really easy thing to get. You can get 200 Strangle Kelp by just running up and down Dark Shore, or Ashenvale, depending on which one you go at Sumgar Stand. These are going to get you a ton of experience. Now if we factor in with the copper we're getting, and you can get roughly 100 to 200, 300 to 400, rust stone and copper. There are different spots that you can find mobs for rust stone too. Not really so much copper. You're looking at 46k from mining, just mining. Another 40k from blacksmithing, if you decide to do blacksmithing instead of... my general rule of thumb when I do it is that I will use the rough stone and engineering until I'm out of copper. That way that I can ensure that I can always level back up the coarse... You'll make the coarse stone powder or whatever, the rough stone powder, and then you'll make the dynamite. You only need to make 15 of those, and it will always get you to that 30 to get the bolts. And then the bolts, you can use the tubes. From there, you can make the tubes for the rifles. You can choose when to stop. You can use that entire set to make tubes, and then you reset. You do it again, and then you make rifles. It's not hard. But that way, I always ensure that I have stone aside, and I can put it... Because we're going to need linen cloth. Linen cloth also from the starting zones is very important. But we're not going to be using it for tailoring. We're going to be using it for that blacksmithing and engineering. But it always ensures that I'm going to have leftover results to ensure that I'm going to get my most experience out of it. When I'm done with that, and I have coarse stone or rust stone left over, and I have nowhere to put it, so because you do get coarse stone from tin, I'm going to put it back into blacksmithing because that 400 XP is really cheap to make, and I can make 100, 200 of those easily each time. And I'm going to be getting, let's do that math, 100 times 400. It's 40,000 experience just for, running around the zone, picking up, ores for an hour. Now, when you have experience bars like this, where you're going up to 160k, 40k is half of those levels at the early levels, and then that's a fourth, and then that's a fifth, and that's a sixth, but you're still getting so much experience for so little effort. Now factor in 2 to 3 hours, and yes, it's boring, but it is a safe, it's an easy, and it's a time-consuming route. And a lot of people will look at the time and be like, no, I don't want it. But you can use this for rested experience. You can go gather then craft for rested experience while you go and play on your other characters. You don't need to spend that amount of time. I do. I want to get it done. I want to, be efficient. I want to see what I can do. I want to push my limits. I get angry at these challenges. I die a lot. But you have to die to learn. Or you have to learn from other people that died. It's just how it is. And that's really my advice for you. I'm going to go over the zones now. And if you have questions about professions or anything, I can counsel you on it. I can tell you all about it. I can give you the details. I can give you the exacts. I don't really want to do that right now because it's a lot of effort. I don't have the time for it. I don't have the energy for it. And I mean, I don't know who's going to see this. I want to help people individually. I think that's more important. I think the video is also a really important idea, though, because I can sit here, I can talk to you, I can give you the gist. So what I always was doing was rolling Blood Elf. I was dying at level 48 in Othari. I was, Hinterlands. I was getting, 20 or dying in, Barrens to the dots or the poisons or the instant cast. So I got mad. I died, 6 or 7 times. The highest level I got to was 48. The other times it was 30, 20, and 28. And that's a lot of time. It is a lot of time. And, that's going to be frustrating. It's going to happen. What I ended up doing was I was talking to all these other people that did the challenge. I asked them questions. I was like, hey, how did you do this? What could I do? What am I doing wrong? What are your routes? And, I started working on those. And when those didn't work out for me, I started trying other things while incorporating it. You can change it up. You don't have to listen to people. You can try out different things. But it's all about knowing the efficiency of it. For example, I found my efficiency in doing herbalism and mining. I originally thought mining was bad because I thought blacksmithing was, not that good. Engineering was terrible. It turned out that those were very strong. They ended up netting me. They're about 40% of my leveling. About 60% in alchemy right now, but they're probably about 40-30% of my leveling. And that's just what collecting herbs. Now, once you get to, Strangle STV and you're collecting King's Blood and stuff, yeah, you are going to not be able to use that mining when it's that low level. But that's okay. We don't need to do that. We can go and collect here for an hour, then shift over to here. Then shift over to here. Then shift over to here. You can swap zones while you're doing those gathering routes. And then when you're ready to craft, you craft in bulk. And that's going to net you the most efficiency because then you're not running back and forth. That's my opinion. So I started off in the Loon Forest. Now, my first time, I did 1 to 15. I went to level. I died in Fargo Deep Mine. I died because I got swarmed. Second time, and this is my second time doing it on the humans. No, I'm sorry, this is my third time because the second time I died at level 30. I died, I believe, in Ashenvale, trying to do questing there. And then I ended up saying questing's not for me. I don't want to do questing. I want to do professions. This is going to net me the most experience. It's going to be the most time consuming, maybe, but I want to do it. And it ends up not being the most time consuming. It's actually really time efficient. Now, I've been very lazy about some things, and I've lost that time efficiency, but as long as you're consistent with it, put on some music, put on a YouTube video. If you're not recording your own video, you're not recording your own guides, just put on some music, and listen, and dub out. It's easy stuff, but especially get them out. Once you get them out, it's just easy. Or you can get, like I did, the Aspect Cheetah. I think this is great because I can run node to node at early levels, 10 to 20. I can just run around once I get 20, or whenever you unlock mounts. It might be 15. Then I can just get in my mount and go around. But this I can run zone to zone. I can kite mobs. I can do all sorts of things. And so I did 1 to 20 here, and I gathered out this zone. I still go back to this zone because it has such good hyper spawns, and you see a lot of people die here. But don't be discouraged by that. These are people playing Spellbound Roulette. These are people playing different challenges. This is a really safe zone. As long as you, don't bite more than you could chew, like over here, and then vineyards, like taking 8 to 5s and then dying to them, you'll be fine. This is all neutral, so you can fucking mine the shit out of this without having to worry about anything. Once I was done here, I leveled up 1 to 20. Once I was done here, I still was leveling up 20 to 25 because that's still green. I was harvesting, and then I started doing my crafting. I did crafting from 20 to 22, then 24 to 25. I did 23. I was still here. And I was still killing mobs here to get that experience in between. A lot of people will tell you that you need to kill mobs while you're going zone to zone. That's true, but don't go out of your way to kill mobs. It's gonna get you killed that way. From there, once I got to 25, I started looking at STV. I said, oh, well, it's level 30. What can I go that's gonna allow me to get profession items that I need? Well, there's this other great zone. It's called Dark Shore. I went to Dark Shore. I harvested 25 to 30. Once I got that done, once I got there, I did start running up down Ashenvale Coast. I didn't go into Ashenvale though. I just kept leveling up here. And that was my 30 to 40 experience. Was just going back and forth here. Once I got to 30, I started leveling up here. Because I know that the leveling here is really safe. As long as you don't do these quest lines as Alliance occurs in past the initial quest line, you don't have to worry. There's not the casters here, the initial ones, and the jungle fighters are very weak. They're very easy to fight. They only heal, and that's it. Once you get to commandos and the head shrinkers, I don't recommend doing it. They do some nasty damage. They can backstab you. They can one-shot you. I avoided the blood scalps. I only killed scavengers and warriors. I didn't do shamans because I didn't want to take purge. And I ended up doing all these other quests. I did skip some quests like Zands of Meshra, but I ended up doing Smot's Chest. I ended up doing this quest for Reeds. I ended up doing this quest. I did all the Nessingway stuff. You can do questing here very safely, even with most builds. While I'm getting this, the Gold Thorn, I'm getting the Life Root, I'm getting the King's Blood. And either way, I was still able to efficiently level there. And do questing, and do all this other stuff there. And then once I was done, I went back and forth, and I just repeated that. And that's all I did. It's not hard. It's time consuming. But once you're done, you're going to get 1 to 60. And that's how you're going to do it. And that's all I have for you. If you have individual questions, just hit me a comment or on my Discord. My Discord is always attached to my videos. That might not be true, actually. It should be on my YouTube about, but I'm going to add it to this video. And I can answer any questions. Now, I don't think developers will nerf it, but if they do, I will let you know. But, you know, just stay close to it. You got to keep up with it, and then once, you know, you commit that time, you're going to get there. And it's going to be time-consuming. It's going to be grindy, but that's okay. It's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot safer, and then you're going to end up efficiently ending all this and being very happy. I mean, you could apply this strategy to any other challenge too. So that's all I have for you. Have a good day, and we'll see you the next time.